Okay, so we are here in the office this morning. We have one of the top team leaders in Atlanta, Georgia, Dwight. You run one of the top 10% team in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Yes.
But what I want to learn from you today is the way you set up your team is unique in such a way that I think 92%, right? 90 plus percent of your clients are actually repeat business and referrals. That's really, really high. 92%. And your team doing a lot of transaction. I think this year you helped about 61 families or something. So you did a significant number of business. And what impressed me is the fact that 90 plus percent is actually a repeat business and referrals. And for us here in our company, that's a big deal because our measurement of success is, we call it here the 3 R's, right? The number of 5-star reviews, the number of repeat business and referrals. And I think your team, you are like, oh my gosh, you are like the model that we wanna, how can we do that? Can you share a bit more introduction about your team, like where you from and stuff like that?
Sure. Dwight Joy again from Gainesville, Georgia. And the name of our team is RU4 Homes Group, and we're at Your Home Sold Guaranteed. And it's a great team. We don't have everything figured out. We're still learning and implementing and trying. That's why I'm here, learning from people like you that's been there before me. But we do a good job with referrals. That's a majority of our business is referrals. And one of the things we do that is by trying to help them understand that it's not just Dwight and Sue or our team that's changing lives, that they personally are changing lives. So we're constantly, from the very beginning, just inviting them to be part of what we call the RU4 family. We really promote it as a family, not just a business, but a family. So they're either involved ministry-wise or they're involved from the home sale side. And we invite them to be part of the RU4 family, and then we continually share with them how their choice to do business with RU4 Homes Group is changing lives locally and globally.
When you say they, you are referring to the clients.
Clients or donors. Sometimes it's people that's come into us through partnerships from the ministry where they've been on a short-term mission trip, or they gave, or they prayed. So we just take both databases, no matter how we met the person, no matter how we got them, and help them to understand that they're world changers. They're literally making a difference in children's lives, adults' lives, all around the world by their choice to partner with us. And then, so how we're doing it, we just constantly share this story. You're a world changer. It's not me and Sue doing it or me and my team doing it, it's you. We couldn't do this without you. And one of the things that you prompt me on is to get on social media and share that story. So we're constantly sharing that story on social media, constantly emailing it to through our databases. A testimony here, a video testimony, and a written testimony. Putting things in their mailboxes, just constantly reassuring them that they are the world changers, not just us.
So what do you do exactly with RU4 Homes and RU4 People? So like, what do you guys do? So for example, if I'm buying a home right now in Atlanta, or if I refer my clients to buy homes in Atlanta, what would happen after that?
All right, we would love to take care of them and serve them. It's a great market to invest in, the Atlanta market. We would invite them to come to Atlanta for sure. Yeah. They would come in and we would do a fantastic job with them, would help them find the best house, get them the most house for their money with the least amount of hassle, of course. And then as we did that, they would become part of our RU4 family. And we'll take proceeds from every one of their transactions and use it to fund the ministry of RU4 People. So we take the resources, we take the money that's generated from the home sales and fund a ministry with it. So everybody that participates in buying and selling homes with our team, not only will they get award-winning service, not only will we do a good job, but they're going to change people's lives.
How are you changing? What does the ministry look like?
The ministry is, we basically have full-time staff in India, Cambodia, and Nepal. And they're working all the time. I love the fact that while our team here in the U.S. is sleeping, they're working. And while we're working, they're sleeping. So 24 hours a day, somebody's sharing the gospel, somebody's ministering, they're praying, they're loving, and we're excited about that. So we're a whole team, we're a whole family, whether they live here or they live there. And one of the things that we connect the home sales directly to it is through every home sold, whether they buy or sell, a minimum of 15 water filters is purchased from the home sale. And then we take volunteer teams from all over the country to these areas and distribute the water filters.
So if I buying a home now in Atlanta, or if every single client that I refer to you buying a home in Atlanta,
Yes.
for every person that I refer to you and for every home sold,
Yeah.
you provide 15 water filters.
Yes, we provide 15 water filters, and they're going to Nepal right now. And what we've learned in Nepal, 44,000 kids a year under the age of 5 years old. So 44,000 kids a year under the age of 5 years old are dying because of the dirty water. So we're on a mission to do 15,000 filters this first round. So from every home sold, we will purchase 15 water filters, literally take them to Nepal and distribute them house to house through our partners there.
Who's doing that?
We take volunteer teams, people like yourself, and our clients. We're starting to have our clients go on these short-term
That's
trips.
what you meant by engage. What's the
Yes.
word you use? Engage, full involvement.
Yes. We love the fact that somebody called us for a real estate transaction or assistance. We got to know them, we loved on them, and then to see them actually travel to Nepal or to India or Cambodia and plug into the ministry, that's super exciting. So they become part of the family. And yeah, go ahead. I could
go
talk
ahead.
all day.
No, go ahead.
I could talk all day about it.
Yeah, because I think the power here is that you involve the clients, and that's why so when you talk about the RU4 family, you are not saying we are just a family, but there's an involvement with that, right? So they actually go, the clients, people like me, we can
Yes.
actually be part of this.
Yeah, you can. We send a group every other month. And in the summertime, in June, July, that's when a lot of folks like to travel. We'll send like 2 teams in June, 2 teams in July. And they're just 7-day trips in and out. Just go in, you minister to the folks, love on the folks, distribute the water filters, minister to the families that are in need, and then back out. So our ministry side, RU4PEOPLE, trains all those people to go and helps them be very prepared. By the time they get to these places, they know what they're doing.
So can you just let's dwell more on that. So number one, why water is so important? Like
Okay.
why you choose water? Why not, I don't know, food or something?
Yeah, I love water is good because it'll save the kids' lives. Unless children are precious, and we want them to have a chance. And what we found out is if you can get them older than 5 years old, if you can keep those kids in Nepal alive until they're past 5 years old, then their immune system, then their bodies can fight off the waterborne issues. So we chose water because it's going to save the young kids' lives, but it's also a way that everybody can be involved. So people can be involved, of course, by giving. People can be involved by going. Kids can be involved. Adults can be involved. You don't have to technically be a preacher to distribute the water filters. You just got to love the people. And so we chose water because it's personal. It's a water filter that goes in their house. It's personal. It stays with them. It's good for 10 years. It saves lives, and anybody can do it. All of us can do it. We just
So
got to be willing to go.
Can you describe, when you talk about anybody can get involved, I think somehow we get involved with your RU4 people, but then how, so let's say we are on the ground right now, we are in Nepal, and you say you provide the training. What kind of training we are talking about? You mentioned several times, all you need to do is just love the people. What does loving the people mean?
Okay. What we do is we'll gather a group that's going to travel. Sometimes we do the training online. Sometimes it's definitely best if we can meet a few times beforehand as a group to go. We try to get the group that's going to touch each other and know one another, because the more unified we are as a group before we go, the more we'll get done while we're there, the more fruitful we're going to be there. If we have to spend all of our time getting to know each other, then it delays the ministry. So we try to build community among the team. And sometimes when they're out-of-state teams, it's a little bit more difficult, but it is doable. But then we teach our people, we teach everybody that goes how to share their testimony, how to share the gospel in a couple of different ways. We teach them about culture shock, just something that we experience sometimes if you hadn't grown up, if you hadn't been and spent a lot of time in other parts of the world, leaving from the U.S., going to those parts of the places you experience culture shock. We teach them what it is and how to deal with it and how to overcome it. We teach them about prayer, how to pray for the people that you're going to minister to, how to be praying for yourself so you'll be a ready vessel to go and minister. We teach about the spiritual warfare, packing, all that kind of stuff. And the ministry of RU4PEOPLE handles all the travel, visas, insurance, everything.
So you are beyond just buying and selling a homes, right? So here at your Home Soul Guaranteed Realty, our mission is to help you achieve your heart desire. So when people are buying and selling a home, that's just the beginning. I think what your team has done very well is that you actually connect them to eternity.
Yes.
Right?
We love to share that with people. Long after, this is what we tell all of our clients, right after they sign, or right before they sign the agreements, different things, is that we're committed to serve them. You know, as you let our team serve you, not only long after you're settled in your house, long after you've sold that one or you've settled in that new home, children's lives are going to be saved, and some children and adults for eternity. So,
yeah, and I think the impact is not just the kids in Nepal. Do you have story that the people themselves, when people go to a mission trips like that, go to places like Nepal and India and wherever you guys go, I think the people themselves will be impacted. Like, can you share some of the story of maybe your clients or your team members that goes to places like that and they actually being more impacted than the kids in Nepal?
Yes, that happens with every trip. I rarely ever see someone go and a team go and not come back with those stories. The average team is 10 to 15 people, and we get up and we work from daylight to dark. We don't rest. We work hard. We're in those countries a short time, and it really stretches us sometimes as individuals to be in some of the situations that we get into. But God always grows the person as they make themselves available, as they trust Him, as they move out of their comfort zone, so to speak. God blesses that, and so we definitely see people come back. We call it a debrief. This is the things that we look for. If you go and you come back and you just have funny stories about this or that, that's great. But if you want it to last, be looking for what did you see God do among those Nepali people? What did you see God doing among the Khmer people? What did you see God doing among those people groups? And then what did God do in you? And so when we come back, all those stories of what God did in them are incredible.
Give me one story.
We've had several go and realize that they were called to ministry or had a certain gift, that God had put a certain gift in them, and they didn't realize it until they were there and was put in a situation and had to use it. Yeah. We've also seen a lot of families who would go and God doesn't need our money. Okay, we understand this. God doesn't need any of our money. He has all the money. He just gives us a chance to use the money as a tool for His glory or for not. Yeah. And we've had a lot of people who would travel in and just, God would speak to them about certain things in their lives. And when they return, they would just cut those and they would turn it and they would give it and continue to change people's lives eternally.
Yeah, because the heart, the perception change.
Yes,
that's
right.
What you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, last question maybe. What's the mission at RU4? First of all, I should have asked this at the beginning. What is RU4 Homes, RU4 People, and RU4 Family? You mentioned 3.
Okay, what it is RU4 Homes Group. It's a business. We're a corporation in Gainesville, Georgia, and we help people buy and sell real estate.
That's RU4 Homes.
Homes, yes.
Okay.
RU4PEOPLE is a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. It registered with the U.S. and it's a ministry.
It's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit
that provides water for.
It provides clean water. We do free medical camps, free eye camps, food distribution projects, plant churches, set up Bible colleges, a lot of different things. And so you have RU4 Homes is a for-profit business, and you have RU4PEOPLE, which is a nonprofit. And the whole reason RU4 Homes exists is to help fund the ministry of RU4PEOPLE.
I see.
And when I say RU4 family, we always tell people, no matter how they get involved, whether they're from the ministry side or whether they're from the home side, we're one family. And together we're changing lives locally and globally.
So if I go to Atlanta right now and I join RU4 Home as a team member in your real estate sales business, what is the mission of RU4 Homes?
We change lives locally and globally through home sales. So at every staff meeting, we start the staff meeting, whose lives have you changed this week? And sometimes they're opening it up and they're talking about lives that they've changed with their clients. Sometimes it's the neighbor's life. But we really want to be on a mission to make it about others, to make it about changing lives, helping people move to where they need to be.
So what's the mission one more time?
Changing lives locally and globally through real estate.
Through real estate. And so let's say we are now in your office. Let's say I transport myself to Atlanta, Georgia now. And how do you live this? How do you communicate this mission of changing lives, serving others to each one of your team members?
We communication, prayer. We're not just a team that's just doing business together. We're a community. We are professionals. We try to keep it black and white. We try to keep it clear. But at the same time, we got to love one another and pray for one another. So we pray for each other. We start each staff meeting out praying for each other's needs. And we hold each other accountable. How did you change someone's life this week? How did it happen? And then we move on to just our culture. And then also we constantly celebrating the wins, the victories. There's a lot of difficult days in ministry, difficult days in business, but you take every win that God gives you and you celebrate it. And you give him the glory for it because he's the one that give it to you. But you celebrate it and you just keep the mission in front of them. It's not about us, it's about others. And it has to be first of all, it has to be who you are. And then you just let it permeate everything in your life.
Let me ask you a hard question. How do you handle with team members, or I'm sure it's not in your team, but in the future, right? How do you handle with team members who are not either in alignment or, for example, either incompetency or basically not meeting your minimum standard?
Yeah.
How would you handle that?
We've had some changings. When we first started, we went through a couple of OSAs, outside sales agents, pretty rapidly, and then we've changed through a lead admin, and we've changed through a couple of administrators. So the thing is, we're on a race to change lives locally and globally. We really want to help more people. We want to do those 15,000 water filters in Nepal. So if we're really about the vision and mission that God's given us, we want to do our best. Once we find out somebody's in the wrong seat on the bus, we try to move them to a different seat. Once we've moved them to a different seat, if they're not producing, if it's not helping change lives at a rate that it could be and should be, then we do transition them out. So it's hard. It's like any business. When you let somebody go, you're not doing it because you want to hurt them. You're doing it because they're obviously not where God called them to be. So you're going ahead and releasing them.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, we have to run a business professionally if we're going to, he's trusting us with it. We better do a good job.
Yeah, it seems like it's a moral obligation for your team to actually do well, because if you tolerate incompetency, then how many more lives being sacrificed as a result of that, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like it becomes our responsibility, our moral obligation to be successful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, is there any other last words and advice? As you know, there are so many real estate agents and teams trying to improve on the referral-based model. And I think the way you run your team, I'm not sure if I know of any other teams or agent has higher conversion rate than you. 92%, is it 92? 92% of repeat business and referrals.
Yes.
So if you were to summarize this in a paragraph for people here in Los Angeles, what would it be like for me?
Just a lot of times people will not participate in something because they're not invited. So invite them to be in partnership with you. Invite them to be a part of your team. Invite them to be a part of your family, and share with them what God's doing in your family. What's the win? What's the benefit? And then we never make it about us. We don't have needs. I don't have needs. My wife don't have needs, but the people in Nepal have needs. The people in Cambodia have needs. So we really try to constantly push it about those needs. And you partnering with us can help meet those needs. So
that's powerful. That's powerful. You have a clear vision as to why the company even exists, right? So repeatedly, I hear what you are saying is that, hey, this is not our company, right? This is God's business, and God entrusted us to manage the resources. And you communicate that clearly so the clients, the business partners, the team members, everybody knows that you are on a mission to provide 15,000 water filters. Why Nepal though? Like there's so many places on the world. Like there's Indonesia, there's India, there's all these places. Why Nepal?
That's a great question. One of the things that we're passionate about, those were the RU. We call it RU for homes and RU for people. The RU stands for reaching the unreached. So we're only in those places that are technically unreached. So it's not that God's not working everywhere, He's working everywhere. But we really feel like the unreached parts of the world, where 2% or less are worshiping Jesus, those are the places that we're plugging in. Because they need an advocate for Him, for them, even if they don't know it. So there's a lot of work happening, but we wanted to plug in among those unreached areas. So we're working India, Cambodia, and Nepal.
Cambodia, Nepal.
Because those are the unreached areas. There's still other unreached areas. So how did we choose those? Because they're unreached, number one. Number two, God just connecting us with like-minded individuals, partners on the ground there. And then we've been doing this for 22 years.
Wow.
And developed ministry relationships for years in those countries. So we basically took the best ones and the ones that we felt like the Lord led us to, and went deeper with them. And then, I know I got a terrible talk.
No, good.
And then 44,000 kids a year. We were praying, God, teach us something that we can do that we can get everybody involved. Not everybody can go train Bible students. Not everybody can go plant churches. What can we do that can get every man, every woman, every child that we come in contact with involved? And that's where the water project come about. So we knew we were going to do clean water. We started doing bigger projects, wells, different things. And then we've settled in on these personal filters that we're doing now, house to house. And it's saving kids' lives, and it's giving us a platform to share the gospel, and everybody can be involved. So
RU4PEOPLE started first 22 years ago.
We have organized it, officially calling it RU4PEOPLE about 4 years ago as a nonprofit. It's when we become a nonprofit. But me and my wife, we've been in ministry for years. We've served as missions pastor at a local church in our area for 10 years. We served with another mission organization a couple of years in India. So those years of relationships and business. Ministry.
So you started that first. I mean, you were involved in the ministry first. So the business only started not too long ago, because I went to your office 2 years ago. When did you start the RU for Homes?
It came after we were running the RU for People. We were looking for a way to fund it. We already travel a lot. We said, God, what can we do to help fund it, to get people involved, yet still tuck my boys in at night, still be home without, because we already travel a lot. So that's where the idea of RU4 Homes come about. My wife was already in real estate. I had a construction background. So we just took our gifts and talents the Lord's given us, launched RU4 Homes, and that's what we have today. So yes, sir, Rudy, RU4People was first, and RU4 Homes only exists to fund it.
It's only when like about 3-4 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're a little over 3 years old. Yeah.
I see. But so that's why you have the people. So how do you bring on the recruiting process to join RU4 Homes? That means the people have to truly believe on your mission, because that's the whole premise of this RU4 Homes. The RU4 Homes, you are very clear, or I'm assuming,
yes.
Are you very clear with the team members on the recruiting process and the onboarding process that our company, RU4 Home, exists to support the mission?
Yes.
So that means the team members that join in, they really have to believe in the mission, because otherwise.
Yes.
So how do you do that?
Everything we do is it's in every document. It's out. Every email, it's out. Signatures. It's everywhere. People know what we're about, and we just try to be authentic the entire time. And then we have no shortage of people that we could bring on to homes. I'm just a little short on leads.
So you have no problem with the human resource?
Yeah, I can get the people. I just the infrastructure to handle more people is where we're at.
Correct. I think that's the reason why we are here. Part of this collaboration is that we are like, hey, the leads is going to be. So I think you are here in California for the whole week.
Yes.
Talking about, and that's for us here in our company. It's for us to be able to support you, and anything we know how to do it. You spend the whole day here with our team.
Yes.
Generating more abundance of leads coming in. That's kind of our strength, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, we want to, as company, continue to grow. We want to make sure that, hey, because I look at your 92% repeat business and referrals. That's powerful. But I think it's not because from you really. It's because it started from the ministry. The business is there to support.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And I think, and as long as we're clear, I think the message here is, what my takeaway from you, spending a day here with you, is basically you truly put God's first. Like, you really understand who's the owner of this business. Yeah. Like, you don't own this. Like, you are the managers of God's resources.
That's right.
And I remember when I first met you about 2 years ago, and we see basically your business continue to grow.
Yes, sir.
Right? Is it when I first met you? How are you doing 2 years ago?
We were about 20 units a year, 20 houses, and
you are like 3 times now.
Yeah, struggling to hire that first assistant, and so we're growing.
Yeah, that's all I remember. And now I was like, wow, your business is continued to grow, but you still keep the main thing, which means that you still try. How often? You say every other month you go to Nepal, India, and Cambodia.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, because you remember the purpose of the business. Because some people, my last question,
okay. How
do you keep yourself not becoming sticky with money? Most people, once you start getting money, most people get sticky. They get confused. They think like, hey, they become the owner. Nah. So how do you, when you just sell 1, 2, 3 homes, then it's easy for you to say, well, I get sticky, right? Yeah. But how do you keep your heart and your wallet?
We constantly, it's a constant battle. We always have to be careful. The enemy is always constantly wanting to tempt us, and we're wrapped in flesh, and he wants us to struggle. The main thing is we set our salary 3 years ago. We know what it costs to live. We got 2 boys. We're a family of 4. We're not in this life to get wealthy. We're in this life to change lives, to make a difference in people. So the key was we set our salary a few years ago, and no need to raise it. So our salary is secured, so we work hard to gather as much as we can to give it away, to make other people's lives better, to change lives. And then no matter who we are, even though all of that just sounded great, I still had to be careful. Just like you, everybody has to be careful, because that temptation of pride, temptation of money is always there. So we just had to stay clean, stay before the Lord, and have accountability in our life. And look, money is just a tool. It can either be, money by itself is not bad, but it can be used for bad. Money has the ability to make you prideful, the ability to make you think it's mine, or it can be used for good, to change lives, to help people have a clean life, free medical care, schools, whatever it is you're doing.
But how do you keep it yourself personally? Like, what do you and Sue, your wife, do to keep you, as you continue becoming more successful now, you become the top 10% of all team in Atlanta. Atlanta is a big, I go to Atlanta at least once a year, so it's a big city, and you become more and more dominant in that marketplace on the business side. But how do you keep it clean?
Stay in the Word. we have to stay in the Word. Me and my wife, we do Bible study together. We talk about it and we pray together. So we stay in the Word, and I also lead my team every Wednesday in Bible study, keeping them in the Word. We read books, we do different things, but we keep them in the Word so that money doesn't become an issue for them. So prayer, accountability, staying in the Word, and trust the Lord. So
Powerful.
And those things, that prayer, accountability, the Word, it don't matter what we do in life, they're the same. We're never
accountability.
or the Word, prayer, and accountability.
What do you mean when you say accountability?
Like we do the Bible studies, example, and we do the small groups where we all talk about it, just to make sure everybody's doing it. If they come to small group or they come to staff about it, then we know they didn't do the study. So they're going to study the Word so that they're prepared to talk about it. And as we read the Word, as we study the Word, it reads us. It exposes, issues in our own hearts and things. And so accountability is just trying to nudge them, encourage them to stay in the Word. And then,
how do you do that? Like, how do you encourage accountability? What if I don't engage? What if I don't read? So let's say we meet every
I tell
Wednesday.
you that you're a terrible person and you should pay attention. I'm just kidding. No, you will. Eventually, you will. Keep loving, keep sharing, and then you have to have those tough conversations. You're not engaging. You're not talking to me. What's going on in your life? And the Holy Spirit will lead us and bring it to the surface.
That's amazing. And as your team continue to grow, you need to set up some sort of system. So, because I don't know how many one-on-one can you do, right? How many people in your team now?
We have 8, counting the whole team.
Yes.
Everybody together. There's 8 of us at the table.
I'm so looking forward to see how you're gonna do this as the team continue to grow from 8 to 10 to 15 to 20, right? So that's why we're here. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation here with. I like Pastor Dwight Joy here, right? So it's one of the top 10% team leaders in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
So we are here the whole day. We're gonna have lunch right after this. I'm learning from you how to build this 92% repeat business and referrals, and we like to build a strong culture that, hey, after all, the whole world here, we don't, think about it, right? The whole world don't get created just because of you, right? We are here onto a bigger purpose, and I like the way you set up your business in such a way that you remember the main thing, right? You are not getting, you are looking things that's beyond just this finite life, basically, right? So your business is truly, I think, what we call like a purpose-driven business.
Yes.
I was like, man, when I look at your business, I was like, that's really cool, right? So we wanna continue learning from you. Your team is always an inspiration, right? My wife always talk about your team almost every day. Like, she's showing me stuff from your RU4PEOPLE. Hey, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing, right? So what's the best way for people to connect with you?
You can go to me personally.
Or your web, yeah.
Yeah, you can go to ru4homes.com or to ru4people.com. So no matter which end of it you want to connect with, our contact information is there. My cell phone number is there. I would love to talk to you and answer any questions you may have.
RU4Homes. So if you are thinking of buying a home in Atlanta, Georgia, that's your marketplace?
Yes, sir.
Atlanta, Georgia, ru4homes.com.
Yep.
And if you are a real estate agent building a team, I don't know of any other teams that truly have a real purpose beyond just making money. And we've been friends with you, your wife, for the past, I don't know, I think 3 years now, 2-3 years.
Yes,
and the consistency, and I see you're really, truly, your business is really designed for others.
Yes.
Right? And it's a different motives versus being a selfish, me-driven, versus, hey, we are here to serve people. And that's what I would like. That's what we admire from you. All right.
Thank you.
So thank you for visiting Los Angeles. What's the best number to call you?
678-520-6910. Again, 678-520-6910.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you.